Ecosia lowered her eyes, her expression calm as she said, Either way, sooner or later you'll have to go. Learning a bit more is good. With a wave of her hand, swish, a virtual screen suddenly appeared before them. Lu Xing and Ecosia both looked up. On the screen were rough outlines of 3 basic maps: the main universe, the abyssal realm battlefield, and other universes. Ecosia explained, the abyssal realm battlefield is the rift between this universe and another. When universes collide, this rift is formed, and it becomes the main battlefield where our universe clashes with other worlds. Another scene appeared, showing countless powerful cultivators heading toward the abyssal realm battlefield. Ecosia continued, innumerable martial geniuses, experts, and prodigies across the stars will eventually be chosen to enter the abyssal realm battlefield to temper themselves. In that sense, it can also be called the cradle of the strong. Looking at the screen, Lu Xing couldn't help but frown in thought. So, isn't that basically a spatial rift? I've always wondered about the root cause of these alien beast invasions. Can you explain it in more detail? Ecosia gazed straight ahead and replied lightly, it's nothing more than another universe happening to collide with ours. That's all. Whether you call it an invasion or not doesn't matter. Sooner or later, we'll drive them all out completely. Retaliating against them is not impossible either. Hearing this, Lu Xing frowned deeper, lowering his head in thought. Just another universe? It wasn't hard to see that to them. The alien beast incursions were taken lightly, even to the point of openly speaking of counter-invasions. Clenching his fist tightly, Lu Xing realized that the higher-ups of the cosmos were still overly optimistic about the battlefield situation, even believing they held the upper hand. Is it because the rank of the level 12 chief enforcer is too low, or do none of the top powerhouses in this universe even know about the existence of the Dark Abyss Lords? Perhaps those outer sources of extreme evil invaded multiple universes simultaneously. And the degree of infiltration here was relatively minor. That must be why they had this false sense of security. Looking up at the screen, Lu Xing's mind wandered. But when the invasion of the Dark Abyss Lords arrives in 7 years, it will already be too late. With his expression darkening, he lowered his voice and asked, Chief Enforcer, have you ever heard of something called the Dark Abyss Lords? Ecosia's eyes widened in surprise. Huh! Dark Abyss Lords? What is that? Hearing this, Ulu, who was standing behind her, stiffened, his eyes widening. He looked directly at Lu Xing and demanded, Lu Xing, where did you hear that name? Lu Xing's expression grew serious. Back on my homeworld. Blue Star, deep in the abyssal chasm invaded by alien beasts, I sensed strange ripples of consciousness from another world. That's where I first encountered the words Dark Abyss Lords. Pavlov stroked his long beard curiously. Ulu, do you know what that means? Ulu's face darkened as he muttered, back when I was on the abyssal realm battlefield, I once heard of it. He went on to recount what little he knew. Dark Abyss Lords, that is the title given to beings of a certain level in another universe. If compared to the cultivation system of our universe, they might correspond to. Ulu's brows furrowed, his tone grave. A level 16 powerhouse. What? Level 16? Ecosia and Pavlov exclaimed in shock. Eyes wide, Lu Xing's brows knitted. Level 16. That's equivalent to my teacher Yang Yizhou, the master of a star domain. He recalled the strange eye he had seen deep in the sea and thought grimly, a star domain is composed of countless star systems. If that terrifying darkness spreading through the abyssal chasm of Blue Star is truly level 16. That's unbelievable. Pavlov couldn't believe it. Ulu, are you joking? A level 16 powerhouse appearing on Lu Xing's homeworld? That's just a primary resource planet. Ulu's eyes narrowed, his face grim. Perhaps it was only a creature from another universe that happened to know the name Dark Abyss Lords. But even so, its level definitely isn't low. His expression grew serious as he added, Level 16 is an existence capable of ruling an entire star domain. Typically, level 11 and 12 cultivators wouldn't even know of them. I only learned by chance when I was appointed Commander-in-Chief of the battlefield. Pausing, his expression grew even heavier. No matter what, if this is true, it's something we must take seriously. He turned to Lu Xing. Tell me the coordinates of that abyssal chasm you spoke of. I want to personally visit your homeworld. Lu Xing nodded. No problem. But in his heart he thought, if the commander-in-chief investigates the abyssal chasm and reports it up the chain, drawing the attention of the high command of the Serpent constellation system, that would be perfect. When the 7-year mark arrives, if everything is properly prepared, countless lives can be saved. This is something I can't do alone. Their starship continued its journey. Along the way, Lu Xing explained everything about the abyssal chasm while heading toward the Martial Dao convention. He kept discussing strategies with the others, hoping to find countermeasures. After some time, Pavlov stroked his long beard and said, "Everyone, we've arrived." He disembarked with Lu Xing, Ikoja, and Ulu. Together, they walked forward until they stopped before a massive arena. Looking around in surprise, Lu Xing asked, "So many asteroids surrounding this place?" Pavlov explained, "These asteroids were specially relocated here to serve as stands." Curious, Lu Xing asked, "How many people can it hold then?" Pavlov chuckled, his eyes crinkling. "Every ticket for the matches has already been sold." Casting his gaze outward, Lu Xing saw countless starships surrounding the place. Pavlov went on, "And beyond that, the spending brought in by the masses, on food, lodging, transport, entertainment, has pushed the economic benefits of this tournament to unprecedented heights." Clapping Lu Xing on the shoulder, Pavlov laughed brightly. "The revenue alone rivals the total tax income of the entire Amok Star region for 50 years. On behalf of the Amok Federation, I sincerely thank you, Lu Xing." Lu Xing couldn't help but smile. 50 years of Star region revenue. If converted, that's hundreds of years' worth on Earth. No wonder they gave me unlimited resources. The profit is enormous. Pavlov looked proudly at the grand arena and added with a smug grin, "Hee, other star regions may want to imitate this, but they can't. They don't have an immortal-level prodigy with extraordinary physique. And if we can hold one such tournament, we can hold a second, even a third." Stroking his long beard, his eyes shone with excitement. "This time, our Amok Star region has truly taken off." Ikoja, standing behind him, suddenly interjected, "But the crime rate has also reached an unprecedented peak." Pavlov waved his hand dismissively, smiling calmly. "That doesn't matter. Once the economy flourishes, there will be many ways to resolve such issues." With that, Pavlov turned to Lu Xing and shifted the topic. "Lu Xing, aside from you, our Amok Star region has also recommended several other prodigies for this tournament. Let me introduce you." The observation starship flew toward a planet designated for overseeing the matches and came to a stop. Not far away, the sharp clang of weapons colliding echoed in the air, as surges of spiritual energy exploded outward. After clashing in close combat, the contestants quickly pulled back, creating distance from the fighters standing at the center. That figure gripped her blade tightly, readying for the next strike. The other contestants charged forward, targeting the kneeling figure in the middle. In an instant, azure spiritual energy erupted. The fighter at the center let out a cold snort, sweeping her blade in a beautiful arc that forced the charging contestants to stagger backward. Standing beside Lu Xing, Pavlov looked at the domineering young woman and spoke. "That female martial artist is named Bong Long. She's over 900 years old, and her strength is at peak level 11. Bong Long stood firm at the center, her presence unshakable." Pavlov continued his introduction to Lu Xing. "She also possesses a radiant moon-level extraordinary physique. Just now, she hadn't even activated the power of her bloodline. If she did, her combat strength could rival level 12. Perhaps the two of you should exchange pointers." As soon as he finished, Bong Long and the 3 other contestants ended their sparring session and walked toward the group disembarking from the starship. The 4 of them cupped their fists and bowed respectfully. "Honored Counselor, Chief Enforcer, Commander-in-Chief." Bong Long's gaze shifted to Lu Xing, curiosity flashing in her eyes. "And this one is?" Pavlov stroked his long beard with a smile. "I believe you've all heard of him. This is Lu Xing. The other contestants stared at Lu Xing, their faces openly showing disdain. Standing at their forefront, Bang Long smirked and said, I've long heard of the immortal level bloodline. Today, I finally get to see it for myself. Why don't we have a spar? Let me witness the might of your so-called immortal bloodline. The 4 contestants stood opposite Lu Xing, while Pavlov, Ikosia, and Ulu all turned to him nervously, waiting for his response. Lu Xing's entire body radiated a terrifying aura. His expression turned cold as he asked, Oh? Are you challenging me?